In the apartment they shared, not as lovers, but more like mismatched siblings who never outgrew bunk beds, Sasha stood by the window chewing the edge of a bagel and said, "Stephen, you got mail." He didn't look up. "From who?" "Someone offering me a free cruise if I just give them my blood type and my firstborn." Number real mail, paper mail, from Athens, New York. Stephen turned toward her slowly, eyes narrowing like a skeptical cat. Athens? As in my hometown? As in the place I spent 18 years trying to forget? Sasha shrugged. "Technically, it says Winchester, which you said was like Athens' weirdo cousin." "That's the one," Stephen sighed. He peeled open the envelope like it might contain anthrax or a bill. There was a letter, some legal-looking papers, and keys. "What is it?" Sasha asked, wiping sesame seeds off her hoodie. "My father's dead," he said. "He left me the house." Her mouth hung open. "Your dad left you the house?" "Yeah, I guess he remembered he owned something besides a tool belt and a bad attitude." Sasha sat down slowly, looking at him like he'd announced a trip to the moon. "What are you gonna do?" Stephen looked around their shabby, half-furnished apartment. The radiator hissed like it was whispering secrets. "I could sell it," he said. "Use the money to get us a better place. Maybe one with walls that don't sweat in July?" "Are you really gonna go back there?" she asked. He nodded. "I think I have to. Gotta see the place. Probably fix it up. Stay for a couple weeks, maybe a couple months." She didn't say anything for a while. Just sipped her tea. Then softly asked, "That place was bad, huh?" Stephen leaned back and stared at the ceiling like it might answer for him. "He hit me, a lot, called me names, said I was stupid because I had ADH, said real boys don't cry, don't wet the bed, don't need help with reading." Sasha nodded. She always knew he'd had a rough childhood, but he never gave her specifics. Now they were pouring out like someone had unscrewed the lid. "He once locked me in a closet for 2 days because I forgot to take the trash out," Stephen continued. "And I didn't even forget. I just didn't hear him say it." She reached over and rubbed his shoulder. Later that night, they sat on the couch with Chinese takeout. Stephen told her about how his dad made fun of him for wetting the bed until he was 10, how he had to tape flashcards to the wall because regular studying didn't work, how no one ever celebrated when he made it through a whole week without crying. "He called me dummy," Stephen said, "like that was my name." Sasha set down her noodles and pulled him into a hug. "He can't call you anything now, he's dead, and you survived him." That night, she woke up at 2 a.m. to the sound of soft talking. She tiptoed to Stephen's door and peeked inside. He was asleep, curled up in a fetal position, his thumb in his mouth. His face was tight with whatever dream he was stuck inside. She closed the door quietly and leaned her forehead against it. The next week, they packed up groceries, tools, and a sad box of tangled extension cords. The drive to Winchester was quiet, not tense, just the kind of silence where the past takes up most of the oxygen. They pulled into the cracked driveway of a pale yellow house with one green shutter missing. Stephen didn't get out right away. "I used to think the house was alive," he said, "like it could hear you, and it liked him better than me." Sasha gave his hand a squeeze. "Let's prove it wrong." He walked up to the door, stared at it, and muttered, "Here goes nothing." The lock turned with a heavy click. The door opened, creaking like it was trying to warn them away. Inside it smelled like dust and mildew and the kind of sadness that seeps into drywall. Sasha went to the kitchen and started unpacking groceries. Stephen stood in the hallway for a long time, like he was waiting for something to jump out at him. Eventually he came downstairs and said, "I'll sleep in my old bedroom. The parents' room is cursed or something." "Good," Sasha said. "I'm claiming the big bed, and if there's a ghost, I'll fight it." They spent the rest of the day unloading supplies. Stephen conked out early. Around 9:30, Sasha passed by his room and heard him whimpering again, muttering like a little boy lost at the mall. She peeked in. He was hugging a pillow, thumb in his mouth again. The next morning over toast, she asked, "You remember anything from last night?" Stephen blinked. "What?" "You were talking in your sleep. Probably just a weird dream." She didn't press, but when he went to the hardware store, she called her ex-therapist. "Hey," she said, keeping her voice low. "I think something's going on with Stephen. He's acting young, like really young, talking in his sleep like a little kid, thumb-sucking, crying." The therapist listened, then said gently, "That sounds like regression." "Regression?" "Yeah, it happens. When someone's been through trauma, especially early trauma, sometimes their mind pulls them back to the age when it happened. It's a defense mechanism, but it's also a chance to reprocess things safely." "So, what do I do?" "Be calm, be kind, encourage comfort, let him have the space to go back. Regression can be really healthy, especially if someone never got to feel safe when they were that age the first time." Sasha nodded slowly, even though the therapist couldn't see it. "Okay," she said. "Okay, I can do that." That night, Sasha went to the pharmacy. She picked up allergy meds and eye drops and then, without really thinking about it, wandered into the incontinence aisle. She stopped in front of a shelf of adult diapers. Her brain split into two voices. One said, "This is weird. He's not a baby." The other said, "He never really got to be one." She picked up a pack, turned it over, looked at the sizing chart, then she put it back down. It felt too soon, too loaded. Instead, she walked over to the toy aisle and picked up a small brown teddy bear with a red bow tie. At the checkout, the cashier gave her a look. "It's for a friend," Sasha said. The cashier just nodded. At home, Stephen was kneeling by a vent, trying to unbend a bent filter with a spoon. She walked up behind him and said, "Got you a present." He turned. "Unless it's a new childhood, I'm not interested." She tossed him the teddy bear. "This is Trauma Bear. He's seen things." Stephen chuckled. "He looks like he drinks." "He probably does." For 2 days, Stephen slept through the night. No crying, no muttering. He woke up smiling. Once he even offered to make pancakes, which ended in disaster and eggshells but still counted as progress. Then, on the third morning, Sasha was jolted awake by screaming, "Help! Help me!" She sprinted outside. Stephen was curled up behind the oak tree, clutching the teddy bear like it was made of hope. She knelt beside him. "Stephen, hey, I'm here. You're safe." He didn't say anything, just buried his head into her shoulder. She held him for a long time. She didn't count the minutes, Later, she made hot chocolate and gave him extra marshmallows. He drank it slowly, his voice small. "You okay?" she asked. He nodded. "Want to talk about it?" He shook his head. "Can you just stay?" "I'm not going anywhere." The next morning, he didn't remember any of it. She called her ex-therapist again. "He's sleeping with the teddy bear now," she said. "And I was thinking, maybe a weighted blanket?" "Good idea," the therapist said. "He probably was never held. His nervous system's still waiting for that." Sasha bought the blanket. It worked. He slept well. That weekend, they went to the diner he used to love. "I want the chicken fingers and the mac and cheese," Stephen told the waitress. She raised an eyebrow. "That's on the kids' menu." "Perfect," he said. "It's for my inner child." They laughed the whole way home. At 3 a.m., Sasha woke up to find Stephen standing by the bed, looking horrified. I think I wet the bed," he whispered. Sasha didn't flinch. She just got up and hugged him. "That's okay," she said. "That's really, truly okay." And it was.
Thank you for tuning in to this edition of Mommy Sarah's Story Time. If you enjoyed the stories, please support the channel by liking and subscribing. Remember, my channel is not monetized, and I write most of the content myself. On occasions when I don't, it's sourced through emails from trusted contacts. Please feel free to like, share, and subscribe. If you're able to, consider making a donation to support our channel. Your support means a lot. Thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to sharing more stories with you.